Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. We have a question that came into the website, and this one is from Louis Shannon, and he says, "Hi Serge, should the golf clubs have vertical lie than standard lie angle to complement the Surge swing, the Peak Performance golf swing? Thanks, Lou." Okay, Lou, believe it or not, that's a very commonly asked question. I run into that all the time, and I guess logically it makes sense that if we're trying to swing vertical, maybe the club should be more upright. Let's discuss what lie angle is. Lie angle is if the club is sitting on the ground. I'll use the top of the podium here. If the club is sitting flat on the ground, the angle from the shaft to the ground is the lie angle. Now by vertical they mean that, say this is my 7-iron right here, vertical would mean, what Lou's asking is, because I have a vertical swing, have I made my club more vertical to the ground? So get it more upright, and therefore, or if I had a flatter swing, so to speak, would I make it flatter to the ground, closer to the ground, the shaft angle? All right. Now, the type of swing you're doing should not affect whether you're upright or down, or vertical, or with your lie, vertical or flat. So the key is that whether you have an upright or lie or a flat lie should not be solely determined by your swing. Really, it's determined really only by your body. I mean, when you stand up, and any of you that have been to a club fitting, what's one of the first things that the pro does, or the fitter does? He measures from your hands to the ground. Now, some of them have used knuckles to the ground, where they have you hold your hand like this, and they get a ruler and they measure it to the ground from here. Some use the back of the wrist. I mean, it's just whatever scale they use for determining what the length and the lie of your club should be. So in my case, I have extraordinarily long arms. I have 35-inch sleeve, which at 5'9", I'm way too short for that arm length. So DJ is 6'3", 3.5", or whatever, and so that puts him at least 6 inches taller than me, and he has the same sleeve length as I do, which is more natural for his height. Now, DJ's clubs are, I think they're about standard length, except that he swings standard lie. Now, my clubs are about 1.5 inches short of today's standards, which are, my irons are even shorter than, and my woods, basically almost everything in my bag is even shorter than what they make ladies' clubs now. All right? And so, but they're not junior clubs, but they're probably not far from it by today's standards as far as longer sets of junior clubs. But the key is even as short as my clubs are, because of my arm length, they are all a minimum of 2 degrees flat, all my irons. All right? So my arm length is so long that when I stand here, I still need flat clubs. As you can see, looking back here, that club is sitting nice and flat on the ground, right about right there. A club is too vertical. If you have a clipboard, say like this, if you're addressing your club and the toe is up in the air at all, then your clubs are basically too upright for you, and they need to be flattened. If your heel's up in the ground, your clubs are too flat and they need to be made upright. All right? Normally, what you just look at the lie. And normally, anytime I'm giving a lesson and I'm standing, I'm walking around a student, having started in front of them to check out their posture and their ball position and everything else, I'm also looking over there and I'm checking out the lie of their clubs right off the bat. Normally I start off with having them hitting wedges and then up to 7-irons or whatever. I'm checking out the lies of their clubs. All right? Today, most golfers are playing woods that are way too upright. They're making woods extremely upright. On average, 60 degrees plus to 60 to 63 degrees plus. So that means that most golfers addressing their irons, their wood is towed up way in the air like this from the ground. There's the ground, and it's way towed up in the air. And I think almost all of you golfers that are playing with probably anything over 44 inches, you're going to see that they're way upright. Now again, if you can stand here and see it, my club is sold pretty well on the ground. Why? Because Doc Griffin, who makes my drivers, every time he gets one from me, he calls the company that he gets them from, and he asks them to check all their clubs out, and even in many cases, they'll pull it out at some point in the process, they're able to bend it flatter. My drivers are about 56, 57 degrees. because of my long arms. Now, years and years ago, back when woods were the woods we played, the standard was 43 degrees length of the shaft, and the lie angle was 53 degrees. According to club fitting, every half inch that you make a club longer, you're supposed to go a degree flatter, which would mean by today's standards, if you were, say, playing a 44-inch driver, you should be, which was a 53 degree lie, you should be, with that makes it 1 inch or 2 half-inch segments, it should be 2 degrees flatter, or therefore 51 degrees. But instead today, they've gone up from 53 for standard all the way to 60 and above for standard. They've gone 8, 10, and 12 degrees too much the wrong way. And you say, well, why did they do that? Well, because when the driver, when any club is effectively towed up, it's effectively hooked. It adds hook to it. And so the concept is I've asked them, why do you do that? Club builders and fitters and will give you the same answer, I'm sure. But the club companies, they say it's because it's going to help golfers hit the ball straighter. Well, yeah, because you hook it, it's going to help slicers not slice as much. But the point becomes, I don't need that help. I hit the ball straight to a little draw. And so one of the things you need to check is with your woods, if they're getting way too long, you want to check the lie angle of your woods also, as well as with your irons. So the key is you are what you are, and you need what you need. And so the lie angle that you need is the one that when you get into a good dynamically balanced posture, and with your arms hanging properly, that your clubs are sold on the ground and in the center of the golf club. All right? Now irons are a lot easier to bend because they can just put them in a line loft machine. They get the bar and they just bend it up or down. And the thing they got to be careful of is that when you bend it, you don't change the face angle. But good fitters know what they're doing, and they can do that. They do that stuff with their eyes closed. But the key is that many times that when you're hitting your driver or your fairway wood's pretty good, but your irons are off, have your lies checked, because they're very likely too upright or too flat. In most cases these days, they're going to be more upright because the irons are made longer than they used to be. And when you take that longer club and you set up to see, if I take this club and I make it about 2 inches longer, I'm holding it over here in my hand, you notice, what do you see? You can see that toe is up in the air. The club is resting on the ground right here at the heel. And so that would be too upright. So in many cases, you go down shorter. Many folks, if you're not over 6 feet, the chances are you're buying standard irons today, they're probably too long for you. Best thing, go find a fitter and get it checked out. Okay? So to conclude one more time, vertical swing does not need upright clubs or flatter clubs with a flatter swing, or vice versa, or whatever. You need the clubs that you need based on your body, shall we say, your body measurements, and you can find that out from any good fitter who knows what he's that can get his rulers out and start measuring, and he can tell you very quickly, and in many cases almost just look at you and know that I think you're going to be standard up or down, or need longer or shorter clubs, and then with that, then the proper lie at that length. That's the proper length for you, okay? So see a club fitter. They can answer all those questions and get you in the proper clubs. So when your clubs are properly fitted, you're going to make better swings, hit it more solid and straight, and shoot those lower scores. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.